right, Mark Rogers TV talking Tennessee football. Of course, you can join me on Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes for the audio version of these conversations, and YouTube at Mark Rogers TV. Please subscribe there. We're talking with Mike LaValle from Last Word on College Football about the Vols. And Mike, apparently no scrimmage on Saturday. Butch Jones had said a few days prior that the scheduled scrimmage was a bit tentative, a bit up in the air. Maybe some injuries along the offensive line affected his decision, but he said no worries. All is in order for preparation for Georgia Tech, and the scrimmages just moved back just a little bit.
Yeah, Mark, we're about halfway through the fall camp as they get ready for the 2017 season. There were some injury concerns. Marcus Tatum, Trey Smith, Brett Kendrick are all back at practice after spending anywhere between 2 and 5 days out of practice, but they're back. I think what Jones wants to do when he talks about injuries is he wants to avoid future injuries, keep guys from getting hurt as they go into really their what they call their camp session. Summer classes ended in Knoxville on Friday, so the team has moved into a hotel, and they're really focused on over the next week a camp-like atmosphere at practice. I think he just wants everybody as rested and as healthy as they can be going into what he considers their 1 week fall camp. Today's the media day. Later on this afternoon, Sunday, so they'll hit the first practice again tomorrow for their preparation going into the season.
So, Mike, you mentioned being about halfway through the fall sessions here, headed toward week one. What can you take away based on what you've gathered, whether that be positive or negative at this point?
So about 13 practices in for camp this year. I've got about 4 concerns and about 4 highlights to take out of. The first thing I'm concerned about is a leadership on the team compared to last year, 2016. Going into the season, we knew who the leaders were. On defense, you really had Jalen Reeves-Maybin back there as the heart and the leader of that defense. And then on offense, you had Joshua Dobbs running the offense. This year, Butch Jones has talked a lot about leadership. He's talked a lot about mental toughness, about making good decisions when you're winded. But he hasn't really pointed out a lot of guys who are stepping up and filling those leadership voids of Joshua Dobbs and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. You think Juwan Jennings, Todd Kelly Jr. or Darren Kirkland would kind of be the obvious choices just because of their role and their prominence on the team. But really, particularly with Juwan Jennings, those guys are more quiet leaders, more demonstrative leaders with the follow me, doing their leadership through their actions. Not a lot of vocal leadership, and Butch Jones hasn't talked about anybody stepping up lately. He hasn't discussed that lately about any player stepping up to filling those roles there on either the offense or the defensive side. So from a player leadership perspective, I'm kind of concerned that he hasn't talked about that. That's something he hit or he stressed quite a bit last year, particularly with Dobbs and Reeves-Maybin on either side of the ball.